Welcome, everybody. Very nice to see you here today. We're going to get started. I think we're about on time. Hopefully, we'll stay on time through the week. Hopefully, your fellow meeting attendees can hear us in Redwood and Trinity. Plenary is happening in all three rooms this week. So without further ado, let's get the session started. We have Risa Wexler here from KIPAC to introduce.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Risa Wexler, the director of KIPAC, the Kavli Institute for Particle Astrophysics and Cosmology. And I just want to welcome you. I'm only going to take a minute. I just want to welcome you on behalf of the lab director and John Sarau, the associate lab director for fundamental physics, Dan Akrib, and myself. I just want to give a very warm welcome and hope that all of you have a wonderful week here. So KIPAC just celebrated its 20th anniversary, and this building, which was built for KIPAC, is also about 20 years old. And when this building was built, we were starting our first large multi-agency collaborative project, the Fermi Space Telescope between DOE and NASA. And right at that time, we were starting to think about the next big project, that multi-agency project that we were going to do. With DOE and NSF, LSST, and LSST is one of the key reasons I came here almost 19 years ago. It's hard to believe. And so it's been a little longer than we initially hoped, but that's just how these things go. We could not be more excited to have just finished building the camera, seeing it on its journey to Chile, starting to ramp up the data processing. It's just been super, super exciting to be here and to see what's happening all around the world. And I hope that all of you will be coming back here to KIPAC and to SLAC for the next 10 or 15 years, telling us all the amazing things that you are going to do with the data coming from this incredible instrument. So I hope that you continue to think of KIPAC and SLAC as one of your homes for doing Rubin science. We're actually going to have an observing room just in the room back there, which is going to get the data directly from the mountain that is getting put together now. So anyways, have a fantastic week, and I hope you all have wonderful collaborations this week. Thank you. Phil.
All right, thanks a lot, Risa. Okay, so main talk today is Rubin status update from the operations director, Bob Blum, who's here in the front row. But before you get to hear from him about the exciting things going on at Rubin, you get a series of slides from me as his deputy. Let's see. So how to get the best out of the meeting this week? It's a little unusual, so we thought we'd spend a few minutes unpacking it for you. Okay, first of all, for safety. So we are in earthquake country. This might be new for many of you. The San Andreas fault runs north-south, which is this direction. So if the room starts to sway, it will go like this. And the thing to do is to avoid things landing on your head, coming off the walls. So if you feel an earthquake, you duck and cover, right? And just remember, this is the feel of it. For fire, I'll show you where the exits are for all three buildings that we're going to be in. The assembly point is the big fountain area outside here. So you just make your way out there and wait for instructions. Look at this big orange splash over the left-hand side. There's no standing room in this room. There's a little bit of standing room in the others, but not in this room. So if this room is full, you can just make your way to one of the others or join by Zoom. More on that in a second. If you do encounter an incident, for a serious one, life-threatening, you call 911 as normal. That works. For any other kind of incident, call 5555, and that gets you through to the gatehouse, and they'll help you with whatever it is that you've seen going wrong. All right, so as promised, here are the exits from the buildings. There's 4 from this one. How do they do it on the plane? Like that. But you'll see them as well from Trinity and Redwood, and like I say, make your way out to the central fountain area. All right, here's the same map, but with different things highlighted for you. These little quotation marks on the map show you the outside spaces or the inside overflow spaces where you can go to join a room if it's full. Okay, so unlike previous community workshops where we all fitted in the same giant ballroom, Slack doesn't have a giant ballroom at the moment. So it's a fully hybrid meeting and also full. So at some point during the week, it's fairly likely that you will have to join one of your preferred sessions by Zoom. And so these are the places where you can go and do that. So there's nice outdoor spaces in the sunshine or under the shade. We also have 3 rooms in the big SUSB, the place where you did registration just now. You can go upstairs to the 3rd and 4th floor and sit quietly in there as well. So just be aware, the rooms will fill up from time to time, especially if the parallels are particularly, or one parallel is particularly popular. Don't worry, you'll still be able to join remotely, just like 250 of your colleagues are already. Okay, so in this meeting where we're all in 3 rooms, quite close together, all excited about the science, trying not to get frustrated if we can't get into a room, it's important to remember our code of conduct. We do try and be kind to each other in the Rubin community, so keep that at the front of your mind. If you do encounter some incident with unprofessional behavior, there's 3 people's names up here. These are the meeting contact people, Rampal, John Franklin, and Agnes. Are they here in the room? Here's Rampal down here, Agnes over here on the left. John Franklin is around somewhere as well. So if you encounter some bad behavior, you can talk to them first about what to do about it, and we can help resolve the issue. Okay, you'll have seen these stickers on your badges. Do please pay attention to them. Not everybody likes to shake hands. Some people prefer to fist bump or even just to wave. Also, you might see people wearing pins like this. These were handed out at last year's community workshop. Not everybody likes to talk to each other all the time. Some people need some time to recharge. So do pay attention to people's social battery. And last thing, for COVID, the policy right now is wear a mask if you want to. People who've come in from international flights are encouraged to wear a mask, but it's not required. Just be respectful for people who have chosen to wear a mask. And of course, if you do show symptoms of COVID-19, please do stay at home. You can always join by Zoom. Okay, talking of joining by Zoom, you can keep track of how full the 3 rooms are at any time, hopefully, by going to this website, Rubin 2024-Spaces. It's also linked from the meetings space page on the community workshop website. This is to let you know how full the rooms are before you get there. So you can make a good decision about which room to walk to, Redwood over there, or Trinity over here, or the auditorium. And here are the names of the rooms in the SUSB where you can go to. The sessions will be full, at least they will be when everyone's arrived from the East Coast. And so please do move to the middle of the row and make friends with people there so that we leave spaces towards the outside. And one top tip here, you might think about joining the plenary in the room that you are then going to be in for the parallel afterwards to reserve your seat. Okay, so we have lots of virtual participants here, 250 of them, I believe, maybe more now. For all of you out there on Zoom, please do remember to mute your microphones so we don't disrupt the meeting too much. You can always register questions on Slack if you don't feel up to doing it on Zoom directly. For people in the rooms, please do remember that you have this horde of people outside hanging on your every word, and do try and use the microphones, which in these rooms means, in the auditorium means waiting for the mic that the runner will bring to you up the aisles. In the other 2 rooms, it means speaking clearly at the ceiling microphones. In Redwood, it means going to the middle of the aisle, the central aisle, so that we can hear what you say. So please do use the Slack space set up for this meeting. You can use that channel for Q&A. You can use it for discussion. It's easy to find which session is which. Here's the convention down at the bottom. Day 1, Monday, 10:30, introductory to Rubin, for example. Okay, and last thing, mentioned the Slack space. Here's the short and memorable link for it to go and sign up. I think most of you are already there, but it is a very useful thing to be able to talk to the other participants on Slack. Okay, that's all from me. You'll hear reminders of these throughout the week, and I won't take up any more time and instead invite Bob Blum up here to give you an update on how Rubin is getting along. There you go.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Risa. It is a real pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure for me and has been for a long time to think of SLAC as one of my homes. So thank you. Welcome to you all. Welcome to you all here in Cavally, in Trinity and Redwood. I'm glad you're here. Glad to see you. I don't always like to talk to everyone all the time either, but I mostly like to talk to people. And if I haven't met you yet, please come up and say hi, and I'll do my best to be around and see everyone and meet everyone that I haven't met yet. Thank you, Phil. If you don't know Phil Marshall yet, you should, because he's one of the main reasons that Ruben will be a success. Look, this is amazing. We're at T-1. This project has been going on, as Risa said, for a long time. Many of you have committed a huge amount of effort to get us to this point. This is going to be an exciting year. We're almost there. I want us to celebrate where we've gotten to this year, but also remember we have challenges ahead of us, and we'll face them and we'll get there. And by the time we meet next, we're going to be right there, ready to do science, or almost ready to do science. This is truly amazing. Don't ask. That's a year. One is a year. Okay, I did want to mention that we are very grateful for the support of our two labs, Noir Lab and SLAC, and of course the Ruben Construction Project. So it's great to be supported by these two major facilities as we go forward as one integrated Ruben Observatory. We have a big group today, almost 500 people, or 350 people, remotely and in person. So this is a great opportunity to catch up on where we're at and to get ready for the sprint. And we're a global community, which is fantastic. This project has tremendous reach across the world. I can't do this talk without saying thank you to our agencies. It's not just funding. That may be the smallest part of it. We have a tremendous core group of project and program officers at NSF and DOE, and they'll be here this week. And it's really their collaborative spirit and the way they work together that allows us all to succeed. So we're tremendously grateful and lucky to have them with us. Okay, a quick update, some current status, and we'll talk a little bit about early science, which is what I think we all want to get to in the next year. First of all, though, let me say that there have been a few changes at the leadership level in the project. All good. Chuck Claver is stepping down as the Observatory Operations Associate Director in Operations. He's going to continue to concentrate technically on helping us get to the finish line this year. And Sandrine Thomas has graciously stepped in as the acting Observatory Director on the operations side. Of course, you know, Sandrine is the Deputy Director for the project. Richard Dubois, who has been a tremendous help getting the US data facility set up, among other things with this project, has retired after a very long and successful career here at SLAC. And Adam Bolton, who's here somewhere, is taking over as the lead from Richard for the US data facility. And our EPO team has a new head, Alan Strauss, who may also be here in this room. There's Alan. And they're doing tremendous things as we start gearing up and building momentum toward first light and beyond. I wanted to say briefly a few words about one of our colleagues who's no longer with us. Darko Jevremovic unfortunately passed away just a few weeks ago. Darko was one of the first in-kind contributors or in-kind scientists, international colleagues who got involved with LSST way back early, led the Serbian team, did a lot of work for the project on software and other things related to time domain, and was just a really nice and capable person who we will miss greatly. So while he's not with us here, I hope his spirit continues with us, and we take a moment to think about him and maybe others that aren't with us anymore that have been part of our project. We'll miss him. Just a word about inclusion. This is one of our main goals going into operations, to make sure that we bring in as many people we can to take part in LSST science. We think that LSST is one of the best ways to include folks that haven't been able to participate in frontline research up to this point. We're building it into everything we do. We have a group here called the Rubin Research Inclusion Working Group. You'll know most of them. I won't read through their names. I will note that down there in the right-hand corner, Gautam Narayan has joined our group recently as the chair of the science collaborations. Phil mentioned code of conduct and how we all want to treat each other well and do science together. I think we're learning that can be done, that we can work together and support each other. We're at different stages in our careers and different abilities, but we can all pitch in together and bring everyone along. We are working on a professional conduct manual. We're happy to hear your input on that. So there's a link there in that little call out, and please go there and share your thoughts as we put this together and build the kind of collaboration that is inclusive and enriching and good for all of us. All right, let's get to the really fun stuff. The current status and the readiness for operations. This is the big message for the week. Rubin Observatory is nearing completion. That is just an outstanding image that was taken a little while ago by Olivier Bonin from here at SLAC. We have made tremendous progress this year, not only by our construction team, who's outstanding and continues to work really hard on our behalf. Our stakeholders, our lab and agency stakeholders have worked tirelessly to help us get there. And of course, you all. You have committed time and resource and all your good input to get us as far as we've gotten so far. So that is the big message for this week. I think we should celebrate where we're at. We're not there yet, so let's be a little bit careful. But we've done a lot, and it's been over 20 years that people have been working on this project, and we're now on the precipice of being able to start the science that we all want to do. So let's take a little bit of tour. It's been an amazing year since January. We started up there in the upper left-hand corner by finishing the dynamic testing in Chile of the telescope system with the commissioning camera and the mirror assemblies with their surrogate mirrors on them. So that was important dynamic testing that had to be done before we could assure ourselves that we could put the glass on the telescope, which is what we're up to now. M2 was tested individually, and that's a picture of some of our in-kind contributors, our colleagues from Italy who did great work on M2. We've added other site monitoring equipment recently. In this case here, you're seeing a picture of another in-kind contribution with the DREAM camera, which is an all-sky camera that we'll use during operations. And then in March, it really started to pick up and get super exciting. So that's a picture there of the M1, M3 coming out of its warehouse where it was stored elsewhere on the summit and making its way up to the facility. And after that happened, which happened very successfully, that's an amazing picture, by the way. It sure looks like it's hanging over the edge there. But it all worked out. And after that, it's just been every few weeks, something really great has been happening. So let's just go through it real quick. Going clockwise, what you see is that big mirror that had been on the summit, ready to go for years, had gone up there right before the pandemic. It was taken out of its crate. And then this great team from the University of Arizona, the Richard Karras Mirror Lab, came down and recoated it with a protective coating, which is what you see in blue. And that helps those vacuum attachments with the lifting fixture. And it was put on its cell, which is the Rubin teal colored structure there on the upper right. And that's right after it was lifted onto the cell, and then the lifting fixture is already coming up off it at that point. And this is a picture of our coating team and the mirror team, or part of the mirror team, with the mirror on the cell underneath the coating chamber before it had been, that blue coating had been stripped off and prepared. But they did that. They put it under the chamber. That's with the chamber just above it, and it will come down. And then, of course, not long ago, they put on a very nice coating of silver on that M1, M3, and it looks fantastic. The throughput will certainly be very good from that point of view, from that one element. We continued by taking the commissioning camera off, which had been mounted on the telescope used for those dynamic tests. We also removed the M2 with its assembly and surrogate mirror. And then we took M2 out of its box. It had also been on the summit for quite a while. It had been coated some years ago. And then the team, just a few weeks ago, actually put it right on the cell there in the lower right-hand corner and attached it. And it is now waiting and ready to go back up to the main telescope soon. Actually, it should be installed on the telescope this week or next. And then, of course, a lot of great stuff has happened with the camera, as Risa was just telling us. So I think it was in April, the team had finished testing and started packing everything up, and they had a nice celebration with the entire team here. That's what you see here on the upper left. They packed the camera up, it went into its shiny travel bag and then into that container. I understand the President of the United States actually stopped by to see it. There was some cover story that he was on a fundraising event or something, but he was in the area. I'm sure it was to see the camera. Anyways, it along with about 10 other truckloads of gear and supplies and materials all got loaded very smoothly onto this 747. Two of our intrepid engineers flew with it all the way to Chile just to make sure. And then it arrived and they met other members of our team. And then they got it to the mountain. So this is, I just love this picture on the upper left. It's just this regular truck stop on the way between Santiago to La Serena or Cerro Pachon. And you see there's our trucks and there's all these, the team was traveling in all these other 4x4s and they just pulled over and had a nice lunch and then they kept going on their way. No major issues. You can talk to Aaron if you want to know some of the details, but everything basically went smooth. The trucks made it to our property outside of La Serena on the way up to the mountain and stayed there overnight. I think the truck drivers camped in their trucks. And then the next morning here on the lower right, they made it up to the summit facility and were welcomed with a lot of excitement by the team. The camera was opened up. All of it looked good so far and was put into the clean room where it is right now. And this is just a wonderful picture of all the folks from SLAC, from the construction team in Chile, from a few folks from Noir Lab, just people from all over the project that were there that day, many of them playing key roles to get us to this point. And I just love that picture of this moment where we got the camera up to the mountaintop. The camera is in the clean room. They're making great progress with its reintegration. We hope to get a rough pump on it in the next couple of weeks, and that will tell us that the vacuum's ready to go. They are working on the filter exchanges. There is a pinhole in there right now, and they'll get to glass in August. The cryo lines, all important cryo system is being assembled and pumped down in the lower facility, not on the telescope yet. And then soon we'll start up the pump coolant system and check out the readout electronic boards, and we'll be on our way. We hope that the focal plane cooling can start maybe by the end of this month, maybe a little bit later. Stay tuned. So what is next? Next is commissioning. We're going to go on Sky. This is just an amazing moment. There's all the key assemblies. The M1, M3 coated, that's a beautiful silver coating. M2 is ready to go. M1, M3, we're still working a little bit on the connections inside the cell to the system. We'll get that done soon. M2 is just about ready. ComCam is cold right now and starting to take data. So we're just about ready to put everything up on the telescope and get on Sky with the commissioning camera, while LSST cam goes through its reintegration testing there in the facility. So these are the big milestones to look forward to. We'll put the M2 on the telescope, I said, next week or this week. ComCam will go on after that. And then hopefully by about the end of August, M1, M3 will be fully on the telescope, and right away in early September, we'll turn on ComCam. And then we'll wait till about the end of the year to start putting LSST cam on the telescope. So this is what 2024 looked like. We put the LSST camera in Chile, check. Primary, tertiary mirror, coated it on the cell, check, check. Secondary mirror on the cell, check. ComCam next, LSST cam, November, December, and then cooled down, tested out, ready to go, hopefully early next year. System first light will happen about the March timeframe with an associated celebration to follow. You'll hear all about it. And then the legacy survey of space and time should start later in FY or by the end of 2025. The operations team has also been busy. We have a lot going on. We've been planning, implementing things, testing, and we're getting ready to go. So lots of procedures, lots of plans have been documented. We have built up the US data facility and the rest of the data processing capability, and that's ready to go. We've been working on the baseline cadence with the Survey Cadence Optimization Committee. There has been testing of the full systems end to end, which I'll say a few words more about in just a second. And there's been ops rehearsals that are right now tuned very carefully to make sure we're efficient with commissioning data, but a lot of what they're learning will flow it right into operations. So the team everywhere is doing more and more things that look like operations as we get closer to that point. We will make sure our staff are fully trained. Obviously, they're getting a lot of work right now on everything from data processing to long haul networks to the data facility to how to run things at night to all the things to maintain and operate the system in Chile with many of the same people working on a construction project going into operations. We will have a review later next year after the surveys that show our science validation are done. And then we'll declare the system ready after meeting a few key criteria, which, by the way, we talk a little bit about today at the SAC meeting, if you happen to come to the SAC meeting later today. And then we'll go for starting the survey. I love this picture. This is a picture of a team. Actually, most of them are contractors, I think, a contracting group that we work with a lot in Chile called MIL. And they're doing lots of things on the dome and other things. But one of the things they're doing right now in the last few weeks is working on cleaning out the dome. And so this is a real phase change from a construction project to a working observatory. That dome has to be a new, clean, managed environment when we put glass and the camera on the telescope. And so these folks literally are going around with hand vacs, with wipes and everything. They're cleaning out the entire inside of the facility. They're picking up little bits of material that have been dropped, little scraps, and they're making it ready to really start moving those big sub-assemblies up to the top of the observatory. And that's been happening the last couple of weeks. So it really is a change that's happening evident right now. We have been commissioning and we continue to commission. We've been using our auxiliary telescope, the small 1.3 meter telescope up there that will be used for atmospheric characterization eventually. But it's also a test bed for our software and other processes as we go forward. So this is our main control room from which we operate that telescope. And we've been working with it over the last year or so, and we continue to do so. We run the scheduler. We run pipeline processing every night that we take data with this telescope. The data go from the taking of the data automatically on the summit over the long haul network. They're processed here at the US data facility at SLAC and then provided for the commissioning team and the operations team to work on. So this is an example of a little mosaic taken with the scheduler on the lower right and difference imaging, which we're doing now as well on the upper left there. We have had 2 successful operations rehearsals. This shows the team that was on the first one, I think, and they were there running a set of simulated images that were literally like they were captured off the commissioning camera, sent to the data facility, processed. Meanwhile, the team at the summit was doing all the things they would be doing with real data at the time, including, verification, validation, what worked, what didn't work. It's a real example of observing. This one tuned to commissioning for sure, but eventually we'll get to the real operations. It's been quite successful. We learned a lot. Every bit of it was useful, and we keep folding that in. This was, I think, a couple months ago, and then we just finished another one a couple weeks ago. So we're making real progress as we go forward. One of the key things, obviously, to start the survey is that we have the right cadence. So we know what we're observing as we start, and we're efficient as we go forward. So last year, the Survey Cadence Optimization Committee, which is led by our Deputy Project Scientist, Federico Bianco, and community members. This is not an internal project thing. This is really the community members sitting on this committee and taking input from you all to make sure your science is included in how we analyze simulations of the survey so that we can assess how well it's going to do for each type of science. They have been working very hard. They delivered a phase 2 recommendation last year that made big strides forward. We improved the overall wide, fast, deep aspect of the survey, added the Virgo cluster. We improved how the inter-night visits would work. We finalized the assignment of at least 5% of time on the deep drilling fields and 3% of time for the target of opportunity follow-up, but without a detailed plan for what that would look like. And then we settled on this idea of a rolling cadence, which is an idea where you concentrate on different bands of the sky more intensely rather than uniformly observe everything straight through. And that allows you to get shorter timescales for transient and variable star work. So that recommendation led to further work this year on finishing up the details. I would say we're well over 90% done with this, and we will finish it by the end of this fiscal year. The team, led again by Fed and the SCOC, continues to work. They've just put out a baseline 3.4 reference for the survey. We're working on specific details. We're working on understanding, I think the idea is that we may move, the SCOC is going to recommend that we move to 1 30 seconds exposure instead of 2 15-second snaps. We'll see how that works out. We want to get commissioning data first before we fully make that decision. So that'll be coming soon. They are working out right now the details of what the cadence in the deep fields will be. There's a few Milky Way details to be left or to be decided on, for example, the filter balance. They have folded in a huge improvement of the overall survey from the aluminum coating on M1, M3. And then we have this detailed recommendation that looks very solid for the TOO program that came out of this Rubin TOO 2024 workshop, which was held over the Bay in Berkeley earlier this year. You can see that there's a link there. If you get the slides, you can see that report in full. So those are the kind of details that are being settled out, and we'll have that final recommendation by the end of this year. There will no doubt be a few things that will carry forward that we won't decide on right now. And of course, we will evolve the survey as needed by monitoring our progress throughout the survey and using the SCOC and our scheduling team to make the right decisions to continue to improve on what the survey can deliver. We will talk more today in detail at a session at 2 p.m. here in Kavli on Rubin Early Science Program. This is the science that we're trying to enable from now through data release 1. So data release 1, again, will capture the first 6 months of LSST data in operations, and then we'll start processing it while we continue to take data, but it won't be a full year of data yet. And it will also include the science of data that comes out at the end of the commissioning period, the so-called science validation surveys. How we do that is through a series of data previews. Many of you have been involved in data preview 0, which is simulated data. Simulated data from our colleagues at DESC, and also a solar system catalog. DP1 will be a data preview from commissioning camera data, so that will come out in the next months. The data will come in the next months. We won't release those data to the community until after first light, so that's early next year. And then data preview 2 will again be the first real science data for the community that will come out after the science validation surveys are complete at the end of commissioning. So we'll be working on producing that data preview while we start the survey going forward. We need effective template generation. So you recall that we need templates around the sky to generate alerts. So we will do an incremental generation of templates throughout the end of commissioning through the first part of the survey. That will allow us to do some alerts in the first year on those places where we have good templates, but we'll have to be effective and make choices about where to observe and which filters to observe. So that's a key component of early science. That world public stream of alerts will start sometime toward the end of commissioning and will steadily grow as we go forward until it's up to full strength after data release 1 and we have the full set of templates around the sky. And then data release 1 will come out and then we'll be off and running into the future. So this is just kind of a graphical description of what I just said. Sometime early next year, we'll hit this system first light, which is a technical milestone for the project. And then we'll be on to system optimization and running toward the start of the survey. In that time, we will have the first look event for our media, celebrating our success, that we have a system that takes science-ready images. We'll put out data preview 1, which will again be the ComCam data that we've taken in a few months. And then we're talking about a first look at LSST-CAM data that comes out sometime after first light that would be perhaps part of the first light images, maybe something else as we go forward into the rest of commissioning, but we're discussing that right now. What will happen as we run toward the start of operations is we'll start producing nightly visit images and catalogs, and those will become available with more and more confidence and less latency as we go forward. At some point when we're convinced that we have the right processing and everything is working well, those will become a regular nightly production. Remember that any particular image is embargoed for a short amount of time, but after the first period, we will then be putting out images every night. And then the community alert broker integration will happen here, and then we'll build toward full alerts as we go forward toward DR1. Just a real quick note, if you haven't gotten involved in DP0 and want to get ready, I encourage you very much to go to the Rubin Science platform online, lsst.data.cloud or data.lsst.cloud, and get on there and start working with our community science team to spin yourself up on how to use the tools and what the data will look like. This is tremendous. This team has brought in over 1,300 people with new accounts over the last couple of years as we've gone forward. We're looking toward something like 10,000 users eventually, so this is a good down payment on that. But really, if you haven't got involved yet, come talk to us. We're happy to talk to you no matter what your level of familiarity or experience is with large data sets. That team is led by Melissa Graham, who might raise her hand. Talk to Melissa if you have any questions about DP0. This is a high-level chart for the operations team about when these data releases come out. So it just sets down with a date range, the things that I've just been talking about. The idea is that those dates on the right, the end dates, will stay more or less fixed, and the certainty of the early date will compress. And you can see that's happening if you've seen earlier versions of this plot that we've shown as we get toward the data previews, the first light and start of operations, and then we're adding in the current view of where we're at. So there's January 1st, 2025. We'll get first exposure to real data with commissioning camera April, May next year. Routine alert generation will follow toward the beginning of the survey, and the first science data set, DP2, early in 2026, probably. Just a few words about the in-kind program. I know many of our international collaborators are here, and we're glad that you are, and we're happy to collaborate and have you with us. We have 28 countries right now that are participating as full members of the collaboration, working together, and they're making contributions to our science enterprise as we go forward. We have 2 major contributions from the UK and France in our data processing. and delivery of our data releases. And that actually that work is going quite well. And of course, one of our most important partners is Chile as our host country. And some of our Chilean colleagues are here with us this week as well. A few things about data rights agreements. We have actually signed one, which is good news, and we look like we're sending out more. We have about 7 of them that have been delivered now to teams, and we'll be working with them both on the Aura and Slack side to get those out and get those done before we start operations, of course, in a year. We wanted to let you know that the 2-year grace period for junior associates who move or get promoted into permanent positions has been clarified or modified slightly. So you can go look at the data rights policy to see what that's all about, or ask Phil or I if you have questions. And the data rights holder list is public, and you can go find that as well. Our in-kind program coordination team, which is led by Aparajita Verma, who is either in this room or one of the other rooms, will be having a session this week too. And you can check in with them if you have any questions. There's a number of in-kind sessions this week. We are modestly expanding the in-kind program as needs develop. So when the community comes with needs, identified needs, we will take those on board, and that will give an opportunity to programs to propose to meet those needs. So it starts with the community, that is you all, or maybe the observatory, identifying a need, posting that, and then people in the in-kind teams and programs can propose to meet that need and thereby grow their program. I wanted to say real quickly, thank you to our communities. You do a tremendous amount of work for us and on behalf of all of us. So thank you very much. The Science Advisory Committee is active and will be meeting today. The Users Committee is meeting later. Users Committee is meeting later this week. They are also quite active and a great place for you to give your input. Our Contribution Evaluation Committee is active, but doing less right now because the main in-kind program is well on its way. I mentioned the Survey Cadence Optimization Committee, again, a really important committee based on community input. We will have a data policy committee, not yet convened, and we're working hard to get our resource allocation committee up. That's the ones that will help us allocate computing resources as we go forward that are above and beyond your normal allocation. We have an important committee that we work internally with the Chilean community called the Implementation Committee that just makes sure we do the things that we said we would do in our agreement so that we can operate in Chile. And then we're working with Ruben and Roman as well, and you'll hear more about that later this week. And of course, we work constantly with the science collaborations. This is the Users Committee. Those that are circled in orange are here on site, and we thank you for your service. And if you folks have any questions for the Users Committee, those are the folks that you can contact this week. Look out for the Science Collaboration Plenary on Wednesday. You'll hear all about it. And for right now, Gautam Narayan is taking over for Will Clark, who's on leave, as the coordinator for the Science Collaborations. Real quick now, because I'm running out of time, we will have achieved first light by the time we get to the next RCW. That's just a tremendous milestone and something we can all be proud of and excited for. So this is well underway. We're making lots of plans with our stakeholders and the agencies. You'll hear all about it as it happens. Our EPO team is working constantly on engaging the community and the public and building momentum as we approach first light. So you'll see a number of these science releases. It's really, we want the excitement of Ruben not just to be that we got there and we had first light and there's this great system. It's really about the science. What is the science we're going to do? And we want to continue to tell that to the public, so that by the time they see first light, they're going to be really excited about seeing what the science is that we're going to do in the next 10 years. So that's my status for you all. Just excited to be here with you. It has been a great first half of the year, and it's going to be another great year going forward, not without challenges. We're going to have a great data set for this broad and diverse community. And by the time we meet next, we'll have had first light and we'll be on the precipice of starting this thing that we've been working so hard on, and we'll be ready to capture the cosmos. I want to say one more thing. I said the big message was that we're close to getting on Sky, and we really are. We're going to be observing soon. The other big message is we're going to do it together. We have gotten this far along over 2 decades because we've worked together. It's not just the Rubin Observatory. If it was just the Rubin Observatory, we'd be done. Nothing the Rubin Observatory does will have the impact and the value that it can have without the community. So it's really together. You, the community, have done so much to bring us to this point with the developing of the science and your effort to help us get the system that we all want together. So it's going to be a challenging year, but if we do it together, we stick together, we're going to get there real soon. Thank you.
All right, we have time for a few questions. And for a first one, while people in this room think, and while Jeff and Greg out there in Redwood and Trinity, while you look for hands in your rooms too, we'll start by going to Zoom. So Meg, are you there with your question for Bob?
Yeah, hi Bob, I'm Meg Schwam, Senior Lecturer at Queen's University Belfast, for those that don't know me. I wanted to ask about early science and plans in the sense of people are applying in November for NSF, or in the UK where I am in March, for proposals that will fund early science. This is the time that we have to ask for the funding to be able to travel to go to in-person meetings. So do you have a sense of what are the in-person meetings or hackathons or things that are going to be set up by Rubin Observatory to help us in terms of knowing when they're going to happen, if they're going to happen, and maybe where? Or if you don't know that information, when you might know about that, so that we can help budget for that in November and February, or whatever the other deadlines are for the international participants.
Thanks, Meg. It's good to hear your voice. Glad you're with us remotely, and hope to see you soon as you're talking about at an in-person meeting. I don't have specifics. I agree that this is something we should clarify. I was just talking to Melissa yesterday, and I've also been talking with others, with Beth Willman at the Discovery Alliance. And I think there will be in-person hackathons and assemblies and workshops in that period, sometime early next year through the summer of next year. And so I think it is incumbent on us to start identifying what those are and putting out a schedule. And as you note, November is a key time for a lot of folks putting in proposals. So I will commit that we will have something up to the extent that we can identify at least 1 or 2 of these special things before that. So let's say by the end of August.
All right, great.
Great, thanks.
For our second question, I think, Melissa, you have one from Sierra.
Yeah, this one from Sierra via Slack. Question for Bob: is the in-kind program expansion based on community needs, intended to just expand data rights for existing in-kind contributors, or also to allow for entirely new in-kind contributors?
We're not, it's a good question because it is a little nuanced. So we're not starting new programs. So the current set of programs, we want to make sure that we have all the data rights agreements done and lined up and ongoing before we commit to new programs. But there is a way that basically new folks can get in, and that's to work with an existing program to design a new contribution. And so we don't strictly require, for example, a group to be in one place or another to be brought in by a program. It's really up to that program to decide who they want to work with. So they are new contributions from existing programs, but that still allows the possibility of creative work for new groups to get involved.
All right, thank you. What about over in the Trinity room? Do you see any hands raised over there? Right, seems quiet. Any others in Redwood?
No questions over here.
All right, thanks. I don't see any hands up in the room. So let's thank Bob again. Okay, we have a few more slides from Steph and Rampal and Melissa. You're going to pass the mic, I think.
Okay, Hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie Deppa. I am the astronomy content strategist on the Rubin Education and Public Outreach team. You've probably seen my name in the context of social media if you are in those spaces at all. So one of the initiatives I wanted to advertise this week is something that we are calling the Rubin Cosmic Clips. This is an initiative by the EPO team to showcase the excitement that our community and our staff have for the upcoming science and the completion of Rubin Observatory. So we want to talk to you about your science. And if you're willing to be recorded on camera, that would be amazing, because we would love to have some of these videos of the Rubin community talking about the upcoming science and showcasing or showing the excitement that we all have for this incredible project. This is intended to be a public product. So this is, to convey the excitement that we all have about this to the public and get them excited as well. So who are we calling on? You, everyone in this room, everyone in all of the other rooms, if you're online, anyone who's excited about Rubin, we want to talk to you and hopefully record you talking about how excited you are for Rubin. As I said, we're building a collection of videos of people talking about Rubin and how excited we all are for it. And so we want to invite you during the course of this week to come talk to us on camera about how excited you are. When and where, I will be setting up little recording stations throughout this week. So keep an eye on the Slack channel RCW announcements. I will announce when I'm set up and where I'm set up. And I'm also planning to set up during and after the unconference sessions on Wednesday if you need like a concrete time to pin to. Any questions, reach out to me either on the LSST Slack, the RCW 2024 Slack, or via email stephanie.deppa@noralab.edu. And in case you need any additional convincing, I wanted to give you a little sneak preview of what we're creating with these videos. Is there sound?
May not.
Oh, there's no sound. Okay, well, good thing we have captions. Well, this is a different experience than I was planning to advertise, but hopefully it is selling you regardless. If you want to be a part of this, we really invite you to come talk to us on camera, and you can be a part of sharing the excitement of Rubin with the public as part of these videos. So thank you, and I will pass it on to Melissa.
Okay, I'm here to tell you a little bit about what's happening, a little more about what's happening this week. So every day we will have plenaries. They're always at 9. They're always set up the same way that this one was set up. Tomorrow we're going to hear from the LSST Discovery Alliance, and then we're going to do the lightning stories. These are those short 5-minute talks from people from the community that everyone really enjoys. Then we will have student flash talks tomorrow morning, which also is always very popular, very popular. On Wednesday, we're going to hear from the LSST Science Collaborations. Gotham will be speaking to what they've been up to lately. Thursday, we have our Rubin Research Spotlight. So this year, our invited speakers, the Science Organizing Committee has picked 4 speakers that are doing Rubin research now to come and tell you a little bit about the science that they've been doing. So we have 4 great invited speakers on Thursday. And then Friday will be the project keynote. And every year, this project keynote tends to celebrate something that has sort of completed construction and passed it over onto operations. And this year, it's going to be celebrating survey strategy. So if you come on Friday, you will hear all about the history of the massive community effort to optimize survey cadence for Rubin Observatory from these 3 invited speakers. Okay, great. So aside from the plenaries that are every morning, Wednesday is a special day because we have the unconference. It's Wednesday, it's 4 p.m. Over by the coffee and the SUSB, like near the posters and the coffee and the check-in desk, you will find the unconference board. It looks just like this. There are sticky notes there. You write your idea for some kind of emergent discussion session, some topic we're not already covering, something you want to get together to talk about and work on. You write that idea on a sticky note, put that sticky note on the board, and then other people will come by and grab the markers and vote for the different ideas. And then whichever ideas have the most votes, so the top 3 by the end of lunch on Wednesday get assigned a room. And then the unconference happens at 4 p.m. So each of the 3 rooms that everything else is happening in will have some topic assigned, and you go, you show up, you talk with people, or you sit and listen, and you have a good time at the unconference. So please do engage with that opportunity. Interesting. Okay. Oh, unanticipated. I made this slide and I don't know how I made it do that. But okay. All right, so session chairs and presenters. So I want to take a moment to really thank our 30 or more session chairs who have put the content together for the Rubin Community Workshop. I know it's a lot of work. I really appreciate all that you do as session chairs. Also this year, we have at least 60 contributed talks from people. So last year, I think we had around 8 to 10. But this is continuing, making the Rubin Community Workshop more science focused. So we have 60 contributed talks this year and probably another 30 or so more invited talks by the session chairs. So I'm really, really happy to see that kind of engagement from people getting their abstracts in on time. You've been assigned sessions to talk in, so it's really great. The SOC and I really appreciate all of that input. Just a few reminders for session chairs to please be in your room 15 minutes early. All of the rooms are remote ready this year, so you will all have virtual participants. You need to appoint a Slack or a Zoom monitor to help you. And if you do need extra help, just reach out in the RCW/help Slack channel. We'll get you some help. For our presenters, it's really recommended to upload your slides to the session webpage so that your slides live there forever and that people can access your slides. So please do upload them. And then to join, to show your slides in any room, you just join the Zoom, share your screen, your slides should show up, and you should be good to go. So it should be that easy this year. Okay, one more thing. We also have poster sessions. So this year we had there's over 30 posters. A lot of them are from students. We have two-day poster sessions. So Monday and Tuesday is one set, and then Wednesday and Thursday is a different set of posters. If you have a poster, you just put it up on the morning of your first day. The afternoon coffee breaks are always sort of considered the poster session. So if you're a poster presenter and you want to talk with people about your poster, go stand next to your poster at the afternoon coffee breaks. If you like talking to poster presenters, go look at the posters in the afternoon coffee breaks. That is the time. I wanted to point out especially that Monday and Tuesday is when all of the Discovery Alliance students, so a lot of undergrad posters are up today and tomorrow. So do make sure to welcome them to our community, go talk to them. They will be doing flash talks tomorrow in the plenary as well. And then we also have virtual posters. All of those are in the Rubin Community Forum. They're very easy to make. You can make one at any time and they can be very short. So I just had like my recent paper, I put up an abstract, a couple plots, and now it's up there and it's easy to share. You can find virtual posters and all of them at ls.sc/RRB 2024. So please engage with that as well if you're interested. And now,
hi everyone, just a couple more pointers. In case you don't know me, I'm Rampal Gill. I'm the one that's been sending you all those emails. Sorry about that. Whether you are joining virtually or from another room or from the fountain or wherever it might be, if you see this big red banner, it means you are not logged in. It means you will not see the Zoom link. So please make sure you're logged in. Otherwise, you won't be able to connect. Okay, so we have tea coffee available at all 3 locations. Monday through Thursday, 8 till 5, and on Friday in the morning only. And if you have any dietary restrictions and you can't find something, please come see me or Regina. We'll try and help you out as much as we can. There are gender neutral bathrooms only in this building. Sorry about that. It's not available at the other 2 locations. So please look to see where you can go. And if you need anything else, flip charts, IT support, anything, please go to the RCW help channel. Tomorrow is the big day for the group photograph. For those of you that got a t-shirt, please remember to wear your t-shirt. It's at 5:30 and we'll be helping you to find the fountain in case you haven't spotted it by then. If you registered and didn't give us a size for your t-shirt, we didn't get you one. If you did that by mistake, then come to the registration desk, which is in the building where you picked up your badge or just where you come in opposite the security. And we'll see if we can find you something. We may have some spares. If you are virtual, we want your photo too. We'll add you into the photograph, and you can do that by submitting your photo to ls.st/RCW2024. Just drop it off there. I think that's it for this slide. And then also tomorrow is the reception in the evening after the photo. That's up at the Slack Cafe. So again, building 53 where you picked up your badge. Also, there's a star party plan thanks to the LSST Discovery Alliance. It'll be right there in the same area where the reception is happening. So come along, and if it's too hot, there's also some indoor space. So we should all be fine. Like I said, I'm the one that's been sending the emails, but it takes a village to put together a meeting like this. It really does. And there's a lot of us been working for many, many months to make this happen. So this is everyone that's involved. And I just want to give everyone a really big round of applause that's made this happen. And it's time for coffee break at any of the 3 locations that you like. Hope you enjoy the week.
Hey.